Good morning. Here it is, almost the middle of July, and we're having a very cool day today. It's only going to be in the 80s. I'm going to swing around here and have you take a look at this cucumber plant. These are Armenian cucumbers. Look inside there. Can you see that one? There it is. There it is. Those are called Armenian cucumbers. Very good. Taking a look at some of the flowers this morning. These are the sweet potatoes. They're doing extremely well. They're even blooming. See if we can find a bloom. The bloom is very pretty. Very pretty. Purple and white. I'm gonna have a lot of sweet potatoes this year. Let's go down and look at the corn. Didn't plant as much corn this year as I did last year. Had trouble with it coming up. This is sweet corn. I believe it's called Peaches and Cream. Got like 3 ears on this stalk. And then I planted some ornamental corn. It's called Golden Gem. Some of you might think of it as the Indian corn that's all different colors. But it's a pastel corn, pastel colors. We have green beans in there. The green beans will grow up the corn stalks when the corn is done. We also have a tomato down in there. Don't know how well it's going to do in the cornfield. We have more green beans here. I already pulled up green beans that grew in May and June, and I put them in the freezer. Look at the pretty red silk on this one. Isn't that pretty? And we have yellow squash. Probably be picking that today for dinner. This is the watermelon. It got put in late because it really wasn't very hot here in May, so it got put in extremely late. But I have 4 plants, and we had some hot weather, so hopefully it'll do well. This is a bell pepper plant. Inside here, we have butternut squash. We've already picked some, but we haven't cooked it yet. And over here is the okra. I have a lot of okra. But once again, it wasn't very hot, so I planted it late. Look at this tomato plant. It is absolutely loaded. I will be making lots of salsa and lots of tomato sauce to can for the year. Look at this zucchini. I think I better pick it today because zucchini tends to double in size daily. We have a tomato over here that's blushing. It's almost turning, but I see it split. It might have been too hot. We had some really hot days. More butternut squash. I'm going to take you over to the cantaloupe. I actually have some cantaloupe this year. Can you see that cantaloupe hiding amongst the leaves? There's actually 2 on this plant. There's the bigger of the 2, And then over here is a small one. And we have some bachelor buttons growing in the cantaloupe. I like to put flowers in with the vegetables because I'm assured of pollinators will come. We have some cosmos in here. They're almost done. More tomato plants. A tomatillo plant. These tomatillos are green and purple. I haven't used these yet, but I did pick the other tomatillos in the other garden and made some wonderful, delicious verde sauce and put it over some pulled pork. Very delicious. And around here, we have more tomatoes. More tomatoes. These are Robert's Concord grapes, and they are absolutely loaded. There's grapes inside these leaves everywhere, and they're just starting to turn. They usually don't get ripe till August, but this plant is loaded, and we've had this in the ground for years. Last year we didn't get anything, but plants tend to give you a good year and then a year not so good. And over here, more green beans and more cucumbers. I've picked a dozen. These are pickling cucumbers. I've picked a dozen. So they're almost done. And then we have a newer plant here. I think I picked 2 off of it day before yesterday. More cucumbers. These are more pickling cucumbers. I pickled 2 quarts so far. Zinnias. And this is one of the first tomato plants I planted this year, but I haven't seen any tomatoes on it. Might not be happy amongst these zinnias, but I have a beautiful array of zinnias here. White and pink and orange. And of course, the morning glories, which literally like to take over everything. And in here, some marigolds, squash plant. And this is down here, that's asparagus. We got quite a lot of asparagus earlier in the year. And inside this bed, over there next to the snapdragon, is horseradish. I planted it, I don't know when I'm supposed to dig it up, so we will see when. Couple little beets. I put a lot of beet seeds in here, but didn't have a very good luck with them. Now this bed is the bed I have problem with gophers, so we'll see if this stuff survives. We have a lot of tomatillos in here, and they're doing quite well. The gophers apparently don't like them. I put in a basil next to that tomato plant. Started that tomato plant from seed, so it is still very young. I have another tomato plant here. It's not as strong looking. It looks very weak. More zinnias, very pretty zinnias. And these tomatillos are just taking over the world. They love this flower bed. And I did not plant them. They came up from last year. A few more. You know, this might be it looks like a zinnia leaf, but it more looks like a brown-eyed Susan or something, but I know it's a zinnia because of the leaf. And this Cosmo that came up on its own, I keep cutting them back and they keep coming back. They're very pretty and very prolific. I have a wide variety of sunflowers this year. I didn't plant any of the giant heads. All of the sunflowers I planted this year were more like a sunflower bush. They had like a dozen to 2 dozen blooms on them, and they were gorgeous. One of them got so heavy it fell over. I cut off all of the sunflowers and made a beautiful, beautiful, huge bouquet. Now, I did not plant this tomato plant. It's an orange tomato. It came up on its own. I usually don't garden way down here. This is just a flower garden. But it came up on its own. It was the very first tomato we picked this year. They're very mild, but it's very happy here. Look how big it is. So it was obviously planted by a gopher or a bird or something. And it's doing well. And you see in here how they're orange. They're orange tomatoes, not really red. That one will have to be picked today. It's ready. But it's been a very good plant, free plant. Take it, I'll take it. Now these are like Roma tomatoes. They make wonderful sauce and wonderful salsa. And I've planted quite a few of them. This one I planted by seed, and it's got four tomatoes on it. We'll see how it does. Once again, I said this is not where I normally garden, but since I had to water one tomato plant, figured I might as well put in more. I actually have like 5 tomatoes in this bed. Here's 2 more that I planted by seed, and they're taking their time. They're taking their time, but they will do well, I'm sure. We have more butternut squash over here. And I see I'm going to have to treat it for sow bugs. Those little guys like to eat everything. And I don't poison anything, but I use diatomaceous earth. It's not a poisoning, it's a food grade, so it doesn't hurt the plants, but the bugs don't like it, so they'll stay off of my plants. And here's another, they're not Roma tomatoes, I think they're Manzano. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure how to say it. But it's doing quite well over here. It's another one I planted by seed, and I'm very happy with its progress. We haven't had any ripe ones yet, but look at all of those. I'm very pleased with this plant. This apple tree I planted quite a while ago, and it may be a dwarf, but it's supposed to have like 4 different types of apples on it. It has struggled for years, but this year I noticed it does have apples, and sadly the tag fell off, so the only one that I remember is the Granny Smith, and it had 2. I picked one yesterday, but it wasn't quite ripe, and I don't know what the others are. But it's doing well. I'm so happy that it's finally coming out of its sadness or whatever you want to call it. But it's doing well. The loquat tree, and it's done for the year. It produces fruit very, very early. And I enjoy it. The birds enjoy it. And my dog Lola, she actually likes them. Okay, I'm going to spin you around here. And I'm going to show you a tomato plant out in the middle of the field here that came up on its own. I've given it very little water because I didn't plant it. And the strangest thing, out of all my tomato plants, this is the only one that had a tomato worm on it, and it devastated one branch. I gave the tomato worm to the chickens. It scared them half to death. They didn't know what it was, but it actually has a tomato on it. So it's strange how things will choose a place to grow, and they do well without any care. And this is my Granny Smith apple tree. I love Granny Smith apples, and it actually has a great number of apples on it this year. Now, these apples don't get ripe until October. So they have quite a ways to go. They have the whole summer to go through. But once again, last year wasn't a good year for this tree also. But this year, I'd say I have at least 2 dozen apples on it. Extremely happy about that. And of course, a garden tour would not be complete without looking at Mr. Rooster for Sylvia and Susan and his ladies. So let's go over to the hen house. I grew blue corn last year, and I grind it up and give it to the chickens. It's a real treat. They really like it. And I guess since I've been filming this morning, we haven't heard Rooster crow. You gonna crow first, mister? Oh, you're looking at the ground. I was trying to lock the gate. Well, we're down to 2 chickens, and that's plenty for us. 2 eggs a day, and they're very good about laying every day. Oh, they're going to run from us today. They're going to go in the hen house. Mister, come on, beautiful guy. Let's hear some noise this morning. Oh, well, sadly, they're not going to give us any noise, so I'm not sure if I have any other flowers to show you this morning. Oh, hi, lady. You're going to come and visit us? Come on out. I gave them the blue corn this morning, and it appears they've eaten it all. It's a real treat for them because it's fresh. It's so much better than what I get at the feed store. Hello there. Come on, mister. Come on out the door. Would you like to say good morning? Now, probably when I turn the video off, that's when he's going to start crowing. He starts crowing about 4 o'clock in the morning. But I don't come out here till 5:30, and then at 5:30 I let him out. And by then, the girls have usually laid their eggs. And then they come out here and want to pick at the ground all day. We have a watering system in here, a mister that when it gets too hot, I just turn it on, keeps them cool. You see the dog out there, huh? She came down to say hello to you ladies. Okay, mister, I guess you're not going to crow till I shut it off. See you later, guys. This is our blood orange tree. And since the oranges are green, I don't know that you can see them with all the green foliage, but these make the best orange juice. And once again, they're loaded. I'm going to take you down behind the house where the canyon is. And Robert said that the cactus on the canyon are blooming. The bird sanctuary. All the animals, wild animals, come to drink water out of this fountain. And these are Arizona blanket flowers. And they're drought tolerant. They don't get a lot of water and they do well. Well, I'm going to have to walk down this wooden staircase in hopes I don't fall or run into a rattlesnake. That wouldn't be good. So, I fell off the bottom step. Well, Robert said there were lots of blooms on the cactus. Let's open the gate. See, it's foggy out here today. Oh, I see it. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you a picture of it because it's facing the canyon. And there's no way I'm going to walk down there. But that's a double header there. And let's see if I can get a picture of this one. I don't want to fall in that cactus. Yeah, you can almost see it. And it's got another bloom on it. So it's very pretty, very pretty. And we're having a nice foggy day today. I love it when it's cool like this. Turn around up to the back of the house. Well, I have a sunflower here, but it's extremely tall, so I have to look up into the sky to see it. It's a yellow one, very pretty. My rose garden and my peach tree. Look at this peach tree. Peaches are small, and this one came up from seed 2 years ago. This is its second year. Last year it only had 3 peaches. This year it's loaded. More zinnias. A little bit of basil. Some onions still in the ground. Oh, and eggplant. We have eggplant over here. Move, Lola. Can you see the eggplant? Let's see if we can see one. It's got about 5 of them on it, deep inside there. Another little tomato plant. My artichoke plant did very well this year. There we go. There's one. There's 2 inside there. There's one over here. So that's been our garden tour today. Let's end it on a note of this sunflower that fell over so we can look at it. Isn't that a pretty color? Almost looks like the sun. It's gorgeous. Well, it's very, very nice talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed the garden tour today. And I will say have a blessed day. And I'll see you again soon. Well, it won't shut on.